I am a big fan of the flood marker.
Keeping track of floodwaters is nothing new for Marshall Frech.
Believe it or not, I filmed my first flood with a 35mm slide camera in 1972.
He was just a kid then. As an adult, he's worked on about a dozen documentaries, including Flash Flood Alley.
This is the story of Flash Flood Alley.
Frech moved here in 2000 to keep track of floodwaters across the Front Range and how the government responds.
People from afar told me, you got to go to Boulder and see where they put the library.
The library straddles Boulder Creek with part of the building over the water. These are the type of things Frech keeps track of.
I was living in Boulder the night that the flood started.
September 12, 2013, Frech grabbed his camera to document the deluge.
I've always been concerned that water would come between these two posts.
To document where the water goes during a high-stage flood.
There's the flood marker.
The flood marker that sits in the middle of Boulder, marking how high the waters can go.
That was a real wake-up call for the Front Range. In Boulder, it happened to get to this level.
The level above the 100-year flood stage, the level where the water refuses to stay in its track.
It wants to go straight. It's not going to want to make a corner. It's going to want to punch through. That's what high-stage flows do.
Frech stands at the edge of an irrigation ditch. He believes this is where the water wants to go, straight. Straight where the ditch goes and runs right next to an apartment complex. Straight through a neighborhood.
A lot of students, a lot of apartments, a lot of people who move in and out frequently or may not be aware of what these ditches could turn into at high-stage flows.
Frech believes government leaders need to keep track of the water from the canyons above Boulder, where the problems usually start before they reach the city.
The 2013 event really crept up on a lot of the people whose business it is to pay attention, and I don't fault them. I mean, those are the vagaries of nature.
But the clarity of action, Frech says, is sharing lessons learned from 2013.
They've made some improvements for sure, but they've only gone to a certain level.
He says there will be another flood, and people should know what that means where they live.
You really owe it to the citizenry in certain areas, in specific areas, to let them know that they are in a high hazard zone and what might occur.
With photojournalist Tom Cole.
This has happened thousands of times, and it's going to happen thousands of more times.
Nelson Garcia, 9 News.
And Frech admits that handling potential flooding issues can be very complicated when it comes to things like government leaders trying to sort out all the red tape.
Right, and he says that involves land rights, public rights, money, so all these are complicated, as well as private land owners. So all those things need to come together.